Hey everyone, welcome back to Columbia City, my Pacific Northwest project inspired by Seattle, Portland, and Vancouver, and other areas in this beautiful region. My computer hasn't rejected the project yet, so things are going well. This episode we're working close to the border crossing we made in the last episode. This little peninsula by the river over here. We're going to be building an industrial suburb, so let's get straight into things. Alright, so let's get started here. The area we're working on is going to be, generally industrial. We don't actually work on the shoreline for it because I don't have any marina assets downloaded, but I'm just also trying to figure out what I want these shorelines to look like. Because the area we're basing this off of is Fremont, which is a suburb north of Seattle. It's got a lot of really cool stuff. It's got marinas on the shoreline, various industry, and just lots of different types of development. A very diverse place. I guess it's a suburb of Seattle, but it's a pretty walkable looking suburb for the most part, except for a huge avenue sort of going through it that we're gonna do something like. Anyway, I don't do any of the shoreline work in this episode. I will do it in future episodes. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I want it to look like, and I think it's gonna be a combination of really basic warehouse development with a couple of marinas, a couple of maybe ferry terminals or stops or whatever you might want to call them, and definitely some areas where people can just go, ride their bike on trails with, trees. And there are definitely some of those in the area we're basing this off of. I'll do the shoreline development another time. I just wanted to work on the development itself here. One thing I'm building here is a greenway that goes sort of below this light rail viaduct. And it's based off of something I actually see a lot in real life. The greenway in Berkeley that connects Berkeley to Albany, El Cerrito, and Richmond in the East Bay, here in the Bay Area. And it's it's a greenway that goes under the BART viaduct. BART's our metro system. So you'll just at random intervals just have this really, really loud train, screaming above you, and it's super cool. I might be the only person who really likes that, but other people I've talked to complain about it. I think it's amazing. I would even go so far as to say that I would be totally fine living right next to it, even if it meant hearing the train go by every 10 minutes. It's really cool. But that's sort of the inspiration for this particular greenway here. It doesn't really extend for as long as the greenway in the East Bay, but it's definitely pretty cool. I like it for the duration that it does go up there on the hill there. Further than that, I'm kind of expanding the road layout down below the viaduct here that kind of connects the Central Park, Gilmore Hill neighborhood over to this side of town. And if you have a name for this district, definitely let me know in the comments. I don't really just want to name it what it's called in Seattle. Like, naming it Fremont would be kind of stupid. But yeah, if you have a name that you think would be applicable here that you'd like me to use, let me know, and let me know why I should use it, because a lot of the time I'll just get a bunch of name suggestions, which are great, but I don't really get a reason why I should choose one name over another. Which doesn't really give me too many options. So if you want to give me a name for this district, might have some historical meaning, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to pick one. And I'm also trying to still decide on a name for the bridge from last episode, and I'll get back to you on that. Anyway, I'm almost done with the road layout here. We've basically laid out all of the infrastructure, at least for this particular neighborhood. The next portion of the episode is going to be where we kind of go down and place all of the buildings. We don't do any detailing, but I just want to place all the buildings and kind of show you how the different zoning is kind of done here, because it is definitely really mixed together in some areas, definitely not in others though. So I think you'll like it. If you're enjoying, definitely make sure to leave a like on the video. That'd be highly appreciated. I mean, this project it's definitely something, and I love it, and it's not going anywhere. I wanted to give you a quick update on my performance in game, because about, I think 3 months ago, I made a video that was my last Columbia City video for an indefinite amount of time. I think I ended up uploading about a month after that, doing a really rural build. But since then, I've removed a bunch of assets, at least for now. I'm going to have to add them back, but I'll be able to remove possibly other assets in the future as well. But point is, I've really decreased the amount of assets I've got. I think it was about 1,000 in loading screen mod, so it went from like 7,500 to 6,500 or something like that. I've also decreased my ultimate LOD settings for trees and props, so they don't render, you know, as far, and that's definitely increased my FPS a little bit. Point is, I've done a couple tweaks, and now I can actually run the game and Google Earth at the same time, which I couldn't actually do before without it crashing. My computer crashed earlier, but that was just because I was being an idiot and I loaded like 5 different things and City Skylines with ultimate LOD on max, so that was my fault. Other than that, I've been fine. I also haven't been auto-saving. I've been setting a timer and saving myself every 10 minutes. So basically the benefits of autosave without the problems. I just have to make sure I set the timer, and then every 10 minutes I'll save myself. And then autosave won't crash the game, and then I also won't lose all the stuff that I built to a crash after not saving. Tip if you're interested. But yeah, anyway, frame rate's a little better. My RAM usage is definitely better. Columbia City's not going anywhere, and I actually plan on uploading once a week until further notice. I've been uploading twice a week, or no, twice a month rather, once every 2 weeks for a little while now, and it's just because I've been getting settled in with my classes and everything. I'm kind of, you know, living on my own for the first time here, and got a lot of settling in to do, but now I'm definitely more settled in. I've got a little bit more time. I'm starting to pre-record, and I've got 2 more videos recorded after this one, and I'm definitely going to get more done as well. I also want to get into the Netherlands and start recording that too, but just generally you should have a video every week until further notice, hopefully. So expect a video about a week from now, and if you want to get that video early, you can head over to my Patreon. Just give me $1 every month, and you'll get videos sometimes about a week early. Like I sometimes upload super early for patron. Anyway, back to what's going on in game. You can see that I'm placing, you know, residential houses on one side of the greenway, and I'm placing everything else on the other side. There is some residential over there, but it's mostly industrial, commercial development, and there's very little mixed zoning on that, you know, that right side of the greenway there, and it's just single family residential, and it's definitely much better off than the other side. And maybe it's a little bit of an exaggerated portrayal of what this kind of thing looks like, but it's very classic in cities to have, you know, dividing lines where like a railway or a highway will cut one neighborhood off from the rest. The greenway that I'm basing this off of in real life, at least in Albany, doesn't do that. Albany's pretty there's no, it's not really a divider that, you know, separates one neighborhood that's distinctly one socioeconomic status from another. But just generally, this kind of infrastructure can do that, and I just kind of want to make sure I portray that here. Anyway, yeah, the area under these viaducts is going to be mostly industrial. We do build kind of a market hall thing as well. You can see that there with the red roof, and it's like an indoor, I guess, like, I don't know, maybe it's a fish market or something, I don't know. But we'll definitely have a lot more development around here, like marinas, boats that are on stilts or whatever. I don't know if those are stilts. Whatever it is that boats that are kind of out of the water are on, we'll have those and stuff like that. But we're not going to work on that in this episode. I'm just placing buildings. I'm placing parking lots. I'm building the infrastructure. It actually took me way too long to build the infrastructure for this neighborhood. I was just trying to figure out how to work with the hills around here, and I think I came to a really interesting balance. I'm just trying to build lots of cool infrastructure in this series. I think that's why I really started Columbia City in the first place. I wanted to, and Seattle just has super cool infrastructure, and I wanted to be able to do that, to build infrastructure that just looks super cool, even if it has maybe bad effects on the urban environment. Either really cool or really unique infrastructure, like the Alaskan Way Viaduct, for example, which used to be in Seattle. Definitely not cool, doesn't look good, doesn't function well, but it's a unique piece of infrastructure that I definitely wanted to capture, so that's why we still have that viaduct in downtown. Although, believe it or not, I'm actually considering removing it finally. All right, now it's time for the Q&A, where I answer questions you leave in the comments with hashtag Q&A, and I get to sort through them and find questions that I think you might want to hear that are asked a lot, and I answer them. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different this episode. I'm not going to put the questions on screen, because I feel like it's a little bit distracting from what's going on in game. So I'll just try to read them nice and clearly. Let me know if you want that back where they're on the screen. Just trying to do this as a little experiment here, but anyway, starting off, first question from Axel is, after how many episodes or in how much time do you expect Columbia City to come to an end? And will it be replaced by another city, or would you move on to your other current projects? Well, I think Columbia City is going to be around for a while. I don't really plan on ending it anytime soon. It's mostly a matter of when the frame rate really gives out. So far, as I expand, the frame rate doesn't get worse. It just doesn't. It's mostly when I add assets that my performance gets worse. So I'll just have to keep that in mind. Remove assets when I add assets. Obviously, that can only work to a certain extent. But I've actually figured out how to zone properly without it looking horrible. I'll talk about that in the next episode or the episode after. But zoning has returned. I am now a person who zones, believe it or not. And that'll help increase the longevity of the series, but I don't really have a concrete answer on that. And would I move on to my other projects once it's over? I mean, I'd probably start another American project that's like large scale, probably. I don't know. That's way too far in the future to consider. Yeah. Anyway, next question from Cody Simpson. What happened to the collaborator builds? That's a good question. Basically, the collaborator builds where I had other YouTubers come in and build in the city are no longer happening until further notice, just because one, it took a long time to import some of them, hint hint, Mr. Chaco's build, into the city. Two, it's just the logistical, like dealing logistically with 5 different collaborations at once was kind of difficult. I might bring them back in the future though, because those builds are super cool. But yeah, they're kind of gone just because it took a lot of time, and I kind of just want to build my own stuff right now, but they might be back in the future. Next question from Dental Wright is, in order to compensate for space in Columbia City, will you be building more large parks or recreation areas, like a large state or national park? And then the question goes on for a lot longer, but yeah, point is like building large recreation areas. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to have a lot of green space in the city, because, I mean, in the state of Oregon, actually, in the 70s, the state governor actually required that each city set a urban growth boundary, it's called, where you can't really build outside of. And that's just to make sure that you don't have huge suburban sprawl, make sure you conserve the green belt around the city. And I mean, that concept's just amazing to me, that it should be implemented everywhere. Obviously, if it was implemented in LA maybe earlier, we wouldn't have such ridiculous sprawl and wildfire risk. But yeah, like I guess I want to kind of implement something like that for Columbia City, so the development won't reach everywhere. Let's just say that. There's definitely going to be national parks. I might build a couple golf courses, although I'm not a fan of golf courses just ecologically, but I make no judgment on the sport, but yeah, cemeteries for sure. I've done some in New Windsor that are a good space filler. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Next question here is from Jackson. How has your move been so far? Do you like everything and the changes you've had? Yeah, I mean, my move's been amazing. Berkeley, I genuinely don't think I would choose any other location in the entire country to move to other than Berkeley right now. Like, it's just absolutely glorious, this city. And the cycling around here is just completely unmatched. Beautiful environment, amazing people. It's a wonderful place to live, and I've just kind of gotten used to my classes, and my classes are great. And yeah, I mean, it's all kind of working out, even though everything's online. I'm really enjoying it here. Next question from Abraham. I answered this a long time ago, but it's kind of updated. How old are you? I am 18. I'm 18. I'm a student at Berkeley. And yeah, I'm 18, meaning I started making videos for City Skylines when I was, I don't even know, like, what, 14? So maybe you can imagine that, going back and watching my initial videos. Kind of crazy stuff, but yeah, anyway. Final quick question here from Space Nerd. What time period do you personally imagine Columbia City in, and can you add some near future touches? I don't really want to do projects that's in at least Columbia City. I don't want Columbia City to be in a different time period. So yeah, Columbia City's in the present. We've got some really awesome bike infrastructure, awesome transit infrastructure, but it's in the present. It's got all the problems of a present day American city, unfortunately. But anyway, let's just take a look at what we built this episode. Transition back to that. So this is what we built. We had the bridge cross over from Gilmore Hill to the other side of the river, right at the mouth of the river, actually. And as you can see, the viaduct that goes across is getting a lot of traffic already, because it's the only way to get in. Actually, there's another way to get in, but this is sort of the main way so far, and it's handling the traffic pretty well. We got bike lanes on either side that are protected. And the development's actually decently mixed. There's some areas that are mostly just single-family residential, and the areas that I haven't built that are surrounding this on either side are mostly going to be single-family residential. But yeah, this area on this side of the Greenway over here is definitely single-family residential. It's kind of the nicer side of town, and the area is just generally just starting to get redeveloped and gentrified. As you can see, there are a couple of apartments that are more modern, but other than that, it's an older part of the city, and it's been around for a while, and that's where it sits in comparison with the rest of the city. Yeah, anyway, let's hop onto ground level here. I've actually got a bus line going through here. I think I mentioned in the last episode I wanted to get bus lines going through some of my areas that I was building, just because there's so many buses in Seattle. So I did that. We got buses coming through here, and it looks super cool. Here's the light rail going above the Greenway. I love it. I mean, I think the Greenway is super cool. Once again, I might be one of the only people who likes super loud trains above me when I'm reading, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments if that kind of thing appeals to you, or if you've been to the Greenway in Berkeley and you approve of the train noise. Let me know. And yeah, nice quiet little single family neighborhood here. It's single family right next to the Greenway. The other side is industrial. Maybe an exaggerated kind of. Actually, the zoning specifically is definitely not exaggerated, but just I guess maybe the wealth gap's exaggerated a little bit between the two neighborhoods, but definitely the zoning, you'll see stuff like this where one side is industrial and one side is single family residential, just right there, just separated by one element of the built environment, whether it be a highway or a railway or something like that. And a lot of the time it can be pretty bad the way that works out. Although that's definitely a topic for a future video. Maybe I can go into that more. But yeah, here I like this intersection here. There are lots of cool little shops that you can go to on the street. You got like an art store. You've got I don't know what that place is across from the art store. It's some sort of restaurant. They sell tacos and hamburgers. Sounds like a nice place. And this intersection here, I used the node controller mod, by the way. I got to use it first in this episode. It's ridiculous. You can smooth the slopes of nodes that are on hills, which is completely game changing. It makes building stuff on hills like I do way more enjoyable. I love it, and I am having a blast with it. But yeah, the node controller mod also sort of allows you to widen intersections like you saw before. But yeah, that's about it for the video. I'm gonna have to sign off here, folks. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. I'd be highly appreciated. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Yeah, once again, you're gonna try to upload about once a week on Sundays moving forward. It's been every 2 weeks for a while, but I think I can get that back up to once a week if I try really hard and pre-record a little bit. If you want to support me, get access to episodes early, ad-free. Ooh, that bus over there is having a time. If you want to get access to episodes early, ad-free, if you want to get your name in the credits, shout-outs, like quick shout-out to David Danos, Konstantinos Tantas, Justin Todd, Dre Hammond, and Barclay. Or if you want to get save game downloads, head over to my Patreon. It's in the description. I almost forgot to mention my 100 patron AMA is out right now. It's got face cam. It's got more answered questions. It's a fun time. So that's out for all patrons if you're interested. What else? You can support me with coffee if you want. Just buy me a coffee, one-time donation. I need a lot of coffee right now, so that'd be great. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's in the description. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed. Enjoy the cinematics, and I'll see you next time.